congratulations to Klay to getting in the situation that he felt appreciated in down there in Dallas.
Not a circus.
But Golden State, they really messed this up from 4 or 5 years ago, man. They were supposed to get rid of Draymond, not Klay, or get rid of both of them and rebuild around Steph. They really had everything in their hand because they had the replacements that they needed. Jordan Poole, they had all these guys that were supposed to replace Draymond and Klay and move forward with Steph. They literally came to the prom with Kelly Rowland and left with Lizzo because her mouth is big. And that's what Draymond did. Draymond talked his way into contracts and forced them to re-sign him, and they pushed Klay out.
Why you do Lizzo like that, Mel? God dang.
We're not going to
no disrespect to anyone that felt disrespected, but that's a loss. If you do that ever in life, you lost. Then a motherfucker.
Flag on the play. Now that we didn't beat the stuffing out of the Paul George signing, let's get to some of these other ones, man.
I didn't like that, the way you said that. Let you rock.
So there is no more Splash Bros in the Bay. Klay Thompson is now officially a Maverick. So tell me, let's kick it off. How you feel about that?
I think it's interesting that he chose Dallas over another team that's in the same state that you're in.
We'll get to that in a second.
But we'll get to that in a minute. But I mean, I kind of don't like Dallas's moves. I don't like him going there because honestly, Klay stopped looking like Klay about 2 years ago. We've talked about it before, and that team should have been blown up with the exception of Steph probably 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? As far as if they want or give the young guys a chance. It's the end of an era. What they did in Golden State is great. I think that Dallas, I don't know what Klay gonna look like. And so on paper, it looks like, oh, they got a shooter, which he is still that. He's not the defender he once was, but I am 100% indifferent on this until I see it because I don't know how this is going to work. I think that they needed to stick with the plans of getting as many long wing defenders Pauls around Kyrie and Luka so they can continue to play defense because they know that their star player ain't gonna do it. So when you get a guy like Klay, I think that yes, he has the shooting. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a good veteran, but at the same time, I think anybody that if you can get a 6'9" dude who can defend, and they lost Derrick Jones, who was an integral part of their playoff run, especially on the defensive end. Like it remains to be seen for me.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Klay is a day one starter, or do you think he comes off the bench for the Mavs in that system?
I think he came there to be a day one starter. I think
That's
he came. I don't think he came there to go sit on the bench.
Yeah,
he came there to be a day one starter. Now, how he plays out as a day one starter remains to be seen. But honestly, man, I don't think. I'm kind of with Zoe on this one because, like, we ain't seen the killer Klay in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, he had two very bad season-ending injuries.
You know what I think it was? I think when it started with them injuries, bro. Like after he got that major, what was it, an Achilles or something?
It was an Achilles and the ACL, right?
Achilles and ACL. He really hadn't been the same, to be honest with you.
And I mean, we all seen it too. He wasn't as explosive.
He's really an ex-splash brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He really ain't splashed in a long time, bro. So
whoa, hey, yo, hey,
look,
get out of Mexico, bro. Get out of Mexico.
Golden State is stupid, man. Golden State is dumb. Well, first of all, congratulations to Klay to getting in the situation that he felt appreciated in down there in Dallas.
Not a circus.
But Golden State, they really messed this up from 4 or 5 years ago, man. They were supposed to get rid of Draymond, not Klay, or get rid of both of them and rebuild around Steph. They really had everything in their hand because they had the replacements that they needed. Jordan Poole, they had all these guys that were supposed to replace Draymond and Klay and move forward with Steph. They literally came to the prom with Kelly Rowland and left with Lizzo because her mouth is big. And that's what Draymond did. Draymond talked his way into contracts and force them to re-sign him, and they push Klay out.
Why you do Lizzo like that, Mel? God dang!
We're not going to.
No disrespect to anyone that felt disrespected, but that's a loss. If you do that ever in life, you lost. Then a motherfucker.
Flag on the play. Lizzo out here catching strays.
No, but there ain't nothing wrong with Lizzo at all. It's just that if I came with Kelly, I should leave with Kelly. Right? So, the splash. I think the Splash Brothers really built that franchise to what it is right now. For you not to be able to go out with them, but you going out with Steph and Draymond, that's the wrong girl you brought to the prom.
Crazy.
Why do you think that is, though, that Steph wants Draymond there, though? Because, we're hearing multiple reports that he is the person that wants Draymond Green there. I don't think he convinced the Warriors I don't think Draymond was able to convince them. I think Steph convinced them. But I'm wondering, why do you think that is, that he prefers Draymond over Klay? I have my
If a dude had a gun in your back, would you do what he told you to do?
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but it did come out saying that Klay went to Steph and told him not to go to the organization to try to get him back. So I don't know how true that is, but that has been out there.
Yeah. If a big network pick up our podcast, and then 5 years down the line they pushing me out, and I come to one of y'all and say, "Don't go to them. Let us handle that. Y'all better go to them if y'all got the pool." I might have said that. I might have said that.
Pride talk. Boy, you want to be here? Stop.
You want the Nick?
That man, and he not talking with his words. He talking with his eyes, man. He's like, "Man, don't come and get me.
Don't come and get me."
Here's my question. How does this move help either one of them? Like, as far as Dallas and Klay, right? How does this move help Dallas? It doesn't. How does this move help Klay? Klay, you want to show that there's something left in the tank. Show me where you're going to get an opportunity in Luka Ball, and when it's not Luka Ball, you got to get a ball up the cap. Like, show me the opportunity. Where's opportunity live for you?
So I think for me, it's that recognition of the next stage of his career. Like, we're not expecting Klay to be the mover that he used to be, right? Like, this is where you find your spot on the wing, you spot up in the corner. Maybe you bring some of that screen offense into this. Like, it's gonna force Dallas, if you put him in as a starter, it's gonna force Dallas to play differently. But it also gives them that element of shooting that they didn't have. I mean, who else was hitting threes?
Chris, let me ask you a question.
This is not game 6 Klay.
How well can Klay Thompson shoot without the ball?
Man, that's a miracle question.
Now or before the injuries, though?
Ever?
No. Without the ball. He's not touching it. That's what he's asking. Can he get a 3-point shot up without getting the ball?
Hey, that's a 3-for-1 question. Don't ask me.
Look, this is what I say. I need to answer Dominique's question because I ain't never get a chance to get to it. But this is what I say. Then I answer Dominique's question. They're not going to play different, Chris. So good luck wishing that's going to happen. They're not going to play different. Right. They're bringing Klay there because they think that more shooting will help what they already do work. Right. So obviously playing hero ball, one-on-one with Luka, one-on-one with Kyrie, and having 5 shooters around the floor, they got whooped by Boston. So their bright idea is the same thing what Daryl Morey was doing with Houston and James Harden. Well, man, we got exposed. It didn't work. Well, if we get more shooters, then it'll work. So they're saying Tim Hardaway Jr. wasn't a good enough shooter to knock down the threes, but Klay is. So now you're not going to be able to double Luka, and now we can make this flawed system work because Klay is over there, and you're not going to want to leave him open. That's what they're hoping for, right? And then to get to Dominique's question, you asked, what was your question again?
I think I asked, why does Steph prefer Draymond to Klay?
Because he's seen Jordan Poole go to sleep, and he not tired yet.
It's the same reason why Melvin keep me as a friend.
Jordan Poole got Pocky out.
Hey, me too, Jay.
Yeah,
listen, I told you.
That's why Melvin hang with me and Eric.
When somebody,
the same thing.
I'm telling you, when somebody got a gun in your bag, you'll say a lot of different shit. Who's got the best chance of knocking the Mavs off of repeating as Western Conference champions? I say everybody.
I was gonna say everybody. I like Minnesota. I do. Something about that Minnesota team. I think they just need more experience. I think they got that experience this year. I don't think the Mavs is knocking them off again.
Nah.
Honestly, I think they need to figure out I think they need to bench Gobert. Gobert needs to come off the bench. I don't think that he is a legit starter. In the postseason, we've seen him collapse. I don't want to say meltdown.
I was just going to say.
We've seen him collapsing come postseason after freshly winning Defensive Player of the Year. It was disgusting personally for me to watch. So I think he needs to come off the bench and they need to start Naz Reid instead. I think that every time they went that way, they played much better as a team, more cohesive, and just the defense was better. Gobert is not, he's not what everybody is saying that he is, So I also think, I don't know. I just think that the Mavs, they need to figure out a lot of things next season because it's not going to be easy for them to get back to the conference finals, let alone the finals.
So look,
go ahead.
Starting Gobert got Minnesota to top 2 in the West, right? So it was working. Now getting in the playoffs and playing one of the top teams and that player getting exposed it shouldn't in every case lead to a knee-jerk reaction of you can't start. I'm going to judge you off these 7 games and the 82 games we play next season, you can't start them. Because what happens if you start Naz Reid, who's mostly an offensive player, and they was using him to offset the scoring they was getting from their starters, and when they bring in Naz Reid, they can continue the scoring with the bench. If you put him in the starting lineup, you're not going to bring Gobert off the bench and get points. Right. So he balances out what they're really trying to do. I like Naz Reid more than I like Gobert, but if you're going to have him on your roster and be paying him all that money, might as well use his defense and just make sure you stagger the minutes of Naz Reid and Gobert really, and blend it really good. But yeah, you're right. He got exposed against Dallas. But I mean, if the goal of Dallas is to put him in the screen and make him play one-on-one against Luka, and you're going to let him do that every time.
That's absolutely ridiculous that they did that.
It's just about what lineups are going to work, right? So I think you can play with lineups that come postseason to either confuse the other team or figure out what is going to work, because I don't see Gobert being able to defend Joker. He wasn't able to defend anybody in the postseason from what I saw. It was bad.
Now he did a good job with Joker in the game. I'm sorry, go ahead.
If they get the Lakers, they're just going to run straight through him.
I don't know.
Gobert is too weak.
The games that they didn't give Jokic to hand off the merchandise treatment, Gobert and whoever was guarding Jokic did a really good job. But when you give Jokic to hand off the merchandise treatment, can't nobody guard him.
That's true.
Here's the thing. Chris' question was who has the best chance of knocking Dallas off as repeat for Western Conference champions. And of course, my original answer was going to be OKC because I really like what they're doing.
Of course.
However, the clear answer is Dallas. They're going to get in their own way. Listen, with this Klay signing, the team that they start on day one will not be the team at the All-Star break, at the trade deadline. It's never going to work. They're going to have to do something different, and it's going to be too late for them to. They're going to still be trying to figure out a formula at the end of the season. It's not going to work.
Yeah. I don't know who the answer is. Any team, I guess. I saw somebody ask about what they think the Suns are going to look like next year. That's one of the most interesting teams to see what's going to become of this, because I think this has to be the year. Well, some people wanted it to be last year, but this has to be the year where, something happens. Something has to happen with this team and the payroll that they have before they have to continue to make difficult or not difficult decisions to where they got to break this up, because none of these dudes that they have, KD included, all of them. I just don't know. Like you're paying a lot of money to get the results.
Nothing.
Yeah, to get the results you be getting. You paying too much money. So what's going to happen this year? This is the year for them.
I mean, I don't think it's a year for them. I think it's the only team in the Western Conference that's not going to make any noise, that's not going to be a true contender. After seeing what they did last season, I would hope that they could get better. But Bradley Beal, I don't know. I just don't think that he fits with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I think their team is too small. They're not defensive enough. They don't have enough of anything. They don't have enough offense. They don't have enough defense to beat the rest of the teams in the West.
I can't hear you,
E, we can't hear you. No, we can't.
Maybe that's why. Maybe the mic was unplugged. Who knew?
That might be the reason.
Hey, Bradley Beal can't beat Bradley Beal. So, like, I think he might be washed up though, for real.
I mean,
another injury-riddled person.
It's not.
Just not the same dude he was.
Yeah, he's just not the same dude he was, man. Kind of like Klay Thompson.
Shout out to John Wall.
I just wonder though if those guys that come from small market teams, like he was playing for the Wizards, like did everybody watch those games? There's going to be more nationally televised games where you're going to see Kevin Durant and you're going to see the Wizards. So I worry that perhaps people just don't know like the holes in Bradley Beal's game.
Yeah,
was he really built to play for a truly like a team that's meant to contend? I don't know.
I don't think none of these pieces fit. That to me, that's the biggest thing. I even said it when they signed Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. I'm like, to me, it's just too much dominant. They all need the ball in their hands to make their offense work. And is anybody ready to concede that position to allow the other person? Because we all have our roles, right? We've seen in the Heat years ago, D Wade said, "I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna allow LeBron to take over, and I'll take the second role." Who's doing that on this team?
I mean, I thought that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker do a very good job of playing off the ball. Devin Booker, we've seen him play point guard. We've seen him be very successful playing off the ball as well. So I thought that Bradley Beal would come in, play the point guard role, and it would work. Like on paper, I think it works. But when it actually happened, it didn't work. They didn't spend enough time playing together. Does anybody know how many games they actually played together as a three? It wasn't a lot.
Including the playoffs, it might have been 20 games.
So that wasn't a whole lot, right? So I feel like they have the same excuse that Brooklyn had when it was Harden, Durant and Kyrie together. Again, maybe, probably not as much, but I just don't think that they're clearly just not a good fit, like you said, Brittany.
I like the fit of KD and Booker. I don't think they have an issue at all. I think Bill's issue is that you can't fit nobody in that's not there. He didn't start the season off because of injury. When he came back, he got injured again after like 2 or 3 games. He never got his stride. And if they can stay healthy, I think they can figure some stuff out. Now, in my opinion, it'd be nice for the team that Phoenix got to have a point guard that's a lockdown defender, a more physical guy that plays well enough on offense where you can get some points from him. And I think Dennis Schroeder, I think Dennis Smith Jr., I think point guards like that, Lonnie Walker, the fourth, I think point guards like that would be a better fit than Bradley Beal. But I think that's really the only and the other issue is Nurkic disappearing so much and them not playing Bo. But I think they could figure it out and be decent. It's just that if Bradley Beal is not going to be healthy, and he's not a pure point guard, and he's not a lockdown defender, I don't know how he helps Booker and KD because they got all the points they need. So I don't know, but if they figure it out, who knows? I mean, they
the
might
money
have enough.
The money they paying, they're not paying that kind of money just to be decent. Like,
well, they don't have to be decent. They couldn't be more than anything but decent without Bill because they was built to have Bill, KD, and Booker. When you have a big three, you're built to have all 3 of them there.
They have no bench either. They have no depth on the team. I don't think that their bench is good enough. I think
their bench is good enough. Their bench was good last year. They had Gordon, they had Bobo, they had Eubanks, they had Royce O'Neal, They had
I would be playing Eubanks so much. I don't like Eubanks.
I don't like Eubanks.
I didn't like their performance off the bench. It just feels
Grayson Allen as well. They had Grayson Allen as well.
Was Lee on there?
You also have to pinpoint the fact that a lot of that came from Frank Vogel. They do have a new coach down there in Phoenix as well, right? True. So Frank Vogel was very instrumental in that downfall because he was implementing the Eubanks minutes over Bol when we saw clearly that Bol was the better option, being the first one off the bench before Eubanks. We saw his defensive output was high. He could score. He was basically 3-level because he could score mid-range, he could shoot the three, spread the floor out, and he still had defensive impact. So picking Eubanks over him was a terrible mistake, and he died by that mistake because literally he ended up getting fired. You know what I'm saying? So I think Mike Budenholzer is a much more competent coach.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, Frank Vogel has a ring, but we don't count that one. Mike has a real ring. Yeah. Mike Budenholzer has a real ring, and so I'm looking forward to seeing like how this team operates under that regime. You know, before we start saying like,
here's the easy answer.
Blow this up here and there.
Here's the easy answer, and they can do this very easy. Solve your big man problem off the bench by going to go get Dwight or Bigger Cousins. Very easy, right? Solve your distributor or point guard problem by going to go get a real point guard and making Bradley Beal come off the bench like Ginobili and be instant offense. So if you go get a guy like Dennis Smith Jr. and he's starting alongside of Booker and KD, he's not going to be looking for his shot. He's going to be setting those guys up and playing lockdown defense on the other end.
Yeah.
And then you can come off the bench with Ginobili / Bradley Beal to get you buckets with Grayson Allen. And then you got to and then you got to defend it down low and Dwight Howard. Easy day.
Yeah, he'll have to. That's what Brad needs. I mean, like the reason why he was successful in Washington is because who else was going to score after Jay Wall? I mean, like who else? Who else was going to be the heavy lifting down there? So if you give him a chance to run with that second unit, I think it will benefit him because then you got the green light and you got a shooter in Grayson Allen who played really well in a lot of Bradley Beal's off time last year, which was good for them. Yeah, let him come off that second unit and be that guy. Jay, I know what school he went to.
Shout out to the brotherhood, man.
Give him the reins off the bench and give him the greenest light since Tom Shepard and Kyle Lee Watson.
Let him put it up. Let him put it up. Let him get the shot up. Shep.
So, but I'm not ready to put Phoenix up there saying that they're going to contend with the possibly making it to the conference finals, getting to the finals. They got a lot of stuff to figure out, but definitely I'm looking at Minnesota and OKC for sure to make that trip back.
I want to see what role they play Rob Dillingham in. Is he that secondary guy? He's going to get heavy minutes this year, or
I think you kind of like sit him, let him learn behind Mike Conley. He still gets time, right? You got to play him, right? Yeah. But let him learn behind Mike Conley. We know that Mike Conley's 37, 38 coming up, right? Mm-hmm. He don't got that much juice left. And then you give him this year, and then you switch roles and let Dillingham be the PG next year.
Okay. For show.
All right. Do we want to take calls at all today, or we just?
Well, we hadn't taken any calls.
We haven't taken any calls. Mel?
Hey man, who fucking this monkey? Me or you?
Hey,
we got sponsors, Mel.
I know. I don't know.
I can tell you who ain't. I can,
yeah. Monkey though? A monkey?
I can tell you who's not. I can tell you unequivocally who's not.
Oh man. Maybe we'll take a couple of phone calls on the next one. Maybe.
There you go. Please, let's take a couple.
But please. Speaking of the next one,
leave all animals alone, please.
Probably got Peter in the car.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't let the ASPS PA people get out.
The who?
Get it right. Get it right.
The who?
No, what alphabet
I don't know what organization that is.
Don't worry about it. We'll find out.
That's that tribe. Ace True was getting that back.
And they said that's how the HIV started. We ain't believe them though.
Man, please.
We ain't believe them though.
Okay.
Hey, don't worry about it. Look them up. They got Mike Vick's ass. Don't worry about it.
Oh man.
So did.
Hey, show got moving.